Another conflict has broken out between Israel and Palestine. At 6:30 a.m. on the morning of 7th October, while most of the Israelis were sleeping soundly in their homes, suddenly the air raid sirens began blaring. In a short while, thousands of rockets were fired at Israeli cities. Israeli Defense Forces estimate that 2,200 rockets were fired. However, the group Hamas claims that 5,000 rockets were fired. Israel has an Iron Dome system. It is one of the best air defense systems in the world. Whenever rockets are fired on Israel, it uses the latest military technology to intercept the rockets and destroy them mid-flight to keep the country protected. But here, 5,000 rockets were fired within 20 minutes. This Iron Dome system failed. Thousands of people were killed and injured in Israel because of these attacks. This surprise attack is the biggest in the last few decades that has been seen in the Israel-Palestine conflict, and it reminds us of the Yom Kippur War. Exactly 50 years ago, in October 1973, Egypt and Syria had launched a similar surprise attack on Israel. After that, a war broke out known as the Yom Kippur War, and this attack is no less than a full-scale war. In addition to the rocket strikes, Hamas launched a multi-pronged attack from the ground, sea, and air. The boundary wall on the Israel-Gaza border was broken down by a bulldozer. Many Palestinians were seen entering Israeli territory, some on motorcycles, some using motor-powered hang gliders to enter Israel through the air. Apart from this, Hamas also attacked Israel from the sea using speedboats. Many events took place within a day. A military base on the Israel-Gaza border was also attacked. An Israeli tank was captured. Many Israeli soldiers were captured and held hostages by the Hamas group. And the Israeli villages and cities on the border were infiltrated by armed terrorists of Hamas. Many innocent civilians have been killed here. Many are being held as hostages, and Israel has declared a state of war in response. The Israeli military carried out airstrikes in Gaza, in which thousands of Palestinians were killed or injured. Let's take a look at the map to understand the context of this situation. Israel and Palestine are located in the Middle East. In the north is the country of Lebanon. In the northeast, there is Syria. In the east, there is Jordan. In the southwest, there is Egypt. And in the west is the Mediterranean Sea. If you zoom in on both countries, the area in the middle is the country of Israel. And the territories of Palestine are divided into two parts. One is the region of the West Bank, which is in the west of Jordan, and the other is the Gaza Strip, which is in the southwest of Israel and borders Egypt. There are many Israeli settlements in the Palestinian territory of the West Bank. They are under Israel's control and are considered illegal by the United Nations and many other countries. The Palestinian territories in the West Bank are administered by Palestinian authorities under the control of Fatah, a political party. On the other hand, the Gaza Strip is controlled independently by Hamas. There has been a separate conflict between Fatah and Hamas historically. Hamas is an extremist Palestinian organization which is considered a terrorist organization by most countries. Canada, the European Union, Israel, Japan, Australia, the USA, and the UK designate Hamas as a terrorist organization. On the other hand, it is not considered a terrorist organization by Brazil, China, Egypt, Iran, Norway, Qatar, Russia, Syria, and Turkey. There are also some countries that consider only Hamas military wing as a terrorist organization, like New Zealand and Paraguay. This is geopolitically relevant because you will see how differently these countries are reacting to the current situation. Hamas military commander Mohammed al-Daif has named this attack Operation Al-Aqsa Flood, and said that Hamas is doing this because Israel has committed atrocities on the Palestinians, and that this is specifically a response of what happened in Al-Aqsa Mosque. Israel launched its own attack in response, which was named Operation Iron Swords. Israeli Defense Forces, also known as IDF in short, have deployed their Navy, Air Force, and ground forces. Along with that, they launched drone strikes in Gaza. Israel's energy minister signed an order to cut the electricity supply in Gaza. To a large extent, electricity was supplied through Israel to Gaza. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said at a television address, "Citizens of Israel, we are at war." He said that the enemy will have to pay an unprecedented price. The defense minister stated that Hamas has made a huge mistake and Israel will win this war. The big talking point in this conflict is how Mossad, the world-famous Israeli intelligence agency, failed to intercept this attack. It is said that Mossad is one of the most powerful intelligence agencies. They have informants even in the Palestinian military groups. They are in Lebanon, Syria, and in different parts of the world. In the past, it has been seen that Mossad agents have carried out precise timed assassinations of major military leaders, sometimes by placing GPS trackers on vehicles, sometimes by using drone strikes, or sometimes by using mobile phones. And now coming back to Mossad, the question is, despite being such a powerful agency, how did they not know that thousands of rockets were being stockpiled in Gaza? The fencing on the Gaza-Israel border has cameras, ground motion sensors, and regular army patrols are carried out there. Why did these smart barriers fail? Domestically, the Israeli government is facing a lot of criticism. The entire country is asking about the whereabouts of IDF, police, and security. He told the BBC that a major investigation has already begun regarding this intelligence failure. On the other hand, talking about international reactions, American President Joe Biden condemned this attack and said that he shows rock-solid and unwavering support in favor of Israel. The foreign policy chief of the European Union also said that he strongly condemns this attack and says that according to international law, Israel has the right to defend itself. They said that Israeli hostages should be released immediately. Iran, which has been one of the main supporters of Hamas, their foreign ministry said that the attack by Hamas was an act of self-defense by the Palestinians. The foreign ministry of the neighboring country Egypt said that it is talking to Saudi Arabia and Jordan in an attempt to defuse the Israeli-Palestinian tensions. The Palestinian president, Mahmoud Abbas, told to the official news agency WAFA that the Palestinians have the right to protect themselves against the terror of the settlers and foreign troops. As I said, he is from the Fatah party, which governs the West Bank. And historically, there have been conflicts between Fatah and Hamas. So Palestine's cause obviously deserves support, but not by supporting terrorists. This has been the stance of our Indian government historically. But the situation in the Middle East is clear. The land which is occupied by Israel has to be vacated. It is very shameful that some people see them as freedom fighters. It is true that there has been injustice against the common people in Palestine, but killing the common people in Israel, such terrorism can never be justified. This is why Israel should use its powers responsibly. Some communal bigots are very offended by such statements. On one hand, there are people who want complete eradication of Palestine. They celebrate the attacks on Palestine, saying that none of them should survive, without thinking about the common Palestinians and what they go through. On the other hand, there are communal people celebrating Hamas terrorists. They are happy to see Israel being attacked. They want Israel to be destroyed, and that Israel should not exist as a country. But think about it. If you were in the midst of this war, think about what the ordinary Israeli and Palestinian families are going through. For life to come to a halt, and to live in fear that a rocket might hit your building at any moment. Israel is also trying to show that they are carrying out their counteroffensive responsibly. Recently, there was an airstrike on a 14-story building in Palestine. But before the airstrike, Israel had issued a 10-minute warning so that the people living in the building should evacuate it before the bomb could hit it. Such warnings have been given before, like the warning given to Fatima Bashar's family before the Israeli airstrike in May this year. Or in August 2022, a 15-minute warning was given to Gazans before an Israeli airstrike. Although Israel claims this, but the truth is that in Israeli airstrikes, many Palestinian civilians have been killed. We hope that there can be long-lasting peace between these two countries. But looking at the current situation, it seems that this war is going to continue for a long time. I would suggest that you understand the historical context of the conflict between Israel and Palestine. Thank you very much.